Hi, I'm Jeff,
Hey, I'm Bobby.
and welcome to our channel, Southern Homestead. This, I guess, is our first video. Homesteading is in our hearts. We've been talking about this now for 20 years or more. We've been married for 30 years now. When we met, we lived in Michigan, and while in Michigan, we built a couple of houses. We had large garden. We had not a lot of property, but a couple of acres. We had chickens at one point. So this isn't new to us. We've done a lot of research and a lot of planning and a lot of skills building. I've learned a lot. Bobby has learned a lot. We know that it's going to be a challenge, but we're so looking forward to this next stage in our life.
So, our property is in South Carolina. We've lived in South Carolina for a long, long time. South Carolina it does have the four seasons like many areas to the north of there. But they're not as a drastic change. You still have the hot summers, but the winters aren't very cold. They'll get a little bit cold, but very little snow. So it's just a really beautiful place. A lot of blue sunshine almost every day. Our family, our children, we have 5 children. We have 4 children and 5 grandchildren. Most of them live in South Carolina, in the upstate area. One of our daughters lives in the Asheville area of North Carolina. Gonna have to do a lot of editing.
Oh, that's all right. Extended camera.
Okay. Some of our extended family has moved to South Carolina to live near us, but most of our extended family currently still lives in Michigan.
So right now, we live a long way away from our homestead. Yeah, when I say a long way away, we're not even in the same continent right now. Yeah, just look at the pictures on the screen. Right now we live in a city called Tianjin. It's south of Beijing, China. This is our 5th year living in China, and we're living here. My wife is a teacher. She teaches 5th grade, and this is a time for us to prepare. We purchased a piece of property, about 13 acres in South Carolina that will become our homestead. We're gonna hopefully do some really good things there, but right now we're paying for everything, and we're preparing, and we're still learning skills. Like I said, homesteading's been in our hearts, and homesteading, you can homestead in an urban area, you can homestead, of course, in a rural area, but urban homesteading looks differently. Like I love to grow plants. I love to grow edibles. And I've been growing edibles, greens, hydroponically for a couple of years now. So I'm growing greens, I'm growing lettuce, I'm growing spinach in our home in Tianjin, China, using hydroponics. It's not difficult to do. It gives you good food that you can go pick just before you cook it. So even though we live in a land that is very unfamiliar to a lot of people, familiar to us, we've lived here for 5 years, surrounded by people, surrounded by buildings. As you see in the picture here, we see this out our window. When it is finished, it will be the 6th tallest building in the world. That is only a couple of blocks away from us. So we live in an inner city. There's, about 15 to 17 million people where we live. And you just can't get away from people. They're all over the place. You can't walk down to the street without people. And where we're going to be moving in South Carolina is vastly different. And hopefully in a few years, we will be there.
So some of our plans for the homestead they look a little bit different between Jeff's ideas and my ideas. I say a little bit different, but probably drastically different. So during this planning period, we've been talking about the ideas that we have for the homestead, things that I would like, things that he would like. What are we both going to need to make our homestead successful? And some past skills we've had with canning and gardening and building houses, those things will have given us the ability to really figure out what we're going to need. Part of the homestead that I'm really focusing on is the animals. What animals do I want to have? Most of the videos that we've seen talk about don't start out too big, don't put in a bunch of fences and a bunch of animals and not know what's going to be involved with that. So I'd like to start out with some chickens, of course. We've done that before, so we know what to expect. Chickens for the meat and for the eggs. I would like to have some goats for the milk, and yeah, it would be kind of hard for me, but for the meat also. Now, where we run into some differences is I would like to have 1 or 2 pigs. I haven't convinced Jeff that pigs should be on our homestead yet, but I think that it would be a good idea for us to have pigs. Cows, we're not planning on having cows. I don't even think in the distant future. But we're just going to see how it goes and take it step by step.
I would have a cow before a pig.
Okay, so we will have a cow we'll get his cow before we get my pig.
Like we said, there are some different ideas. Our book. This is the start of our book. There's notes in here. There's some other things here, but goals for 2018. We do have goals. We have the property. The property is undeveloped, and we don't spend a lot of time in the United States every year. We get maybe 5 or 6 weeks a year where we're actually in the United States, and we like to take advantage of our time over there. So I've worked with somebody who's going to act as an owner agent per se, and so like our septic system, where we're at, we need to have a septic system. So he's going to communicate with the local officials and the permitting and such, so the septic system could be done in our absence. This summer when we're home, one of our goals is to get a driveway cut in, to get area cleared for where the house will be, where a barn will be. She wrote in the goals a yard. I don't know how big of a yard she's thinking, but right now the lot is not heavily wooded. It's sparsely wooded, but it is a lot of brush and growth, so it'll take quite a bit to clear. Another one of our goals is for me to sharpen my skills in carpentry. I've built a lot of things. I have a really good understanding basic carpentry skills, but our house we're planning is a timber frame house. We will harvest our own lumber. So I'll be taking a course this summer in timber framing just to get up to speed with that. While I'm at the course, Bobby will be at the homestead planting trees. So getting some of the fruit trees in. We want some pecan trees and peach trees and possibly plum. So she'll be getting those things in. She'll be working with people to make sure that the clearing is done properly. We're planning on building a temporary structure and platform so that while we're out there, whether we're in an RV or camper or something like that, we have a place to live. securing water. We have public water available to us. We can also put in a well. Wells in our general area are running anywhere from 90 feet down to 250 feet down. So we don't know if a well is feasible this year or not. We don't want to bite off more than what we can chew. I know I can build the platform that we're planning on building. It's going to take me 5 days to build it. I know how long it's going to take if I have good weather. If I don't have good weather, then it delays the process. With me being gone for 2 weeks at a course, that gives me 3 weeks to work. Building the platform takes a whole week of my time. So just utilizing our time properly, planning appropriately, of course, spending time with our family. I don't want to say eat up my time because my family is not eating up my time, but it is time away from the Homestead project. And it's time well spent away from the Homestead project, but it is still time away from it. So realistically, I'm going to get 2 good weeks to work at the Homestead this summer, where my wife Bobby's going to get around 4 weeks to work. So she'll be doing the bulk of the work this year, more so than I. But I think we have a common goal, and that's to get a driveway cleared out, to get a lot cleared out, to get a basic utility done, whether that be a septic system in, more than likely a septic system, or to get a well put in. Those are our goals, and a platform built. So that's our goals for 2018. We're keeping it simple. Oh yeah, the trees. Got to get the trees planted. We're going to keep it simple for this year, and then hopefully next year really try to arrange my schedule so that I have more time, so that I can get more projects done, and then go from there.
Okay, so just to explain a little bit about the platform that he is talking about, we've been looking at campers and RVs as options of what we're going to live in while we're working on building the house. But with some of the research that I've done, I've come across used military tents, and I like to have open space, and I think I would really feel more comfortable with living in a military tent on a wood platform rather than a small camper or something like that. So we're looking at the option of building a platform and putting a military tent around it. That is something that we can just pack up when we're done with our visit home and put away until we come back from China the next time and work on the homestead.
So between now and then, we are going to be posting videos. Some of the videos are just going to be our plans, our dreams. Some videos are going to be practical. The other day, I made a batch of breakfast sausage, and I was making sausage links out of it. So making sausage in China is just like making sausage in the United States. You buy your meat differently. You have to go to a market. There isn't nice cuts of meat. I kind of got to pick and choose. I have a meat grinder. I have a casing stuffer. I have all that stuff here. It just looks a little bit differently. I don't have a smoker here, but I still make smoked sausage. So we'll be posting videos like that. I got some bacon curing right now in the refrigerator that will be ready to process later today and cut up and get in the freezer. So we'll continue to be making videos. A video that will be posted probably in the next day or two is my wife's grand reveal of her ancestry DNA results. And yes, it's a grand reveal, and we aren't going to say anything more about that. You'll just have to watch the video. Mine are still pending. Bobby did ancestry DNA, I did 23andMe, and mine are not ready yet. So as soon as mine are ready, we'll get a video on that. And I don't know. I really don't know. She had a pretty good idea. I know half my family. The other, I'm adopted by my dad. My mom is my real mom, but I'm adopted on my dad's side. So I only know half mine. So for me, there's not going to be any surprises because everything's going to be a surprise. So yeah, we look forward to any advice you have to give us. And is there anything you want to say as we sign off?
Okay, when you give the advice, you are free to give some guesses on what nationalities you think either of us might contain. just by how we look. Remember, keep it nice.
Yeah, keep it nice. And
Keep
you've
it
already got an
nice.
idea of a little bit what's in there because you've seen pictures of our kids. So,
Yes.
yes. Talk to you later.